The antique shop smelled of dust and forgotten dreams, lingering in the air. Rows of trinkets glittered under dim lights, each holding a silent, untold story. Clara ran her fingers across a tarnished silver ring, its emerald eye cold against her skin.
Interested? She rasped, her voice like dry, rustling leaves.
How much?
The whiskey fumes hit Clara before she saw her husband. The pungent smell was a familiar, unwelcome guest in their home. Mark, sprawled on the couch, mumbled incoherently. His once vibrant eyes were now dull, lost in a haze of alcohol.
Another night lost to the bottle. Another night of my pleas ignored. How many times have I begged him to stop? How many nights have I cried myself to sleep?
Anger welled up, hot and bitter. She slammed her fist on the table, the ring biting into her finger. The pain was sharp, but it was nothing compared to the ache in her heart.
I wish I had a baby girl, she spat. My own flesh and blood to love. Someone who would need me. Someone who would love me unconditionally. Someone who wouldn't abandon me for a bottle.
The room pulsed. The air crackled with unseen energy. It was as if the very fabric of reality was responding to her desperate plea. Clara gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. She had never felt anything like this before. It was both terrifying and exhilarating, and heavy and absolute. The room felt different, as if it was holding its breath, waiting for something to happen.
What have I done? She whispered, her voice trembling. The weight of her wish settled on her shoulders, heavy and unyielding. She had wanted a change, but at what cost?
Clara awoke with a gasp. 6 months. 6 months since that horrible night. 6 months since her world had tilted on its axis. She was pregnant, but not in the way she'd ever imagined. The night had been filled with shadows and whispers, a night that had changed everything. She had felt a strange presence, an inexplicable connection that she couldn't understand at first. But now, it was all too clear.
The baby. It was Mark. Trapped. His essence, his very being, somehow transferred into the unborn child. It was as if the universe had played a cruel joke on them, binding their fates in the most unimaginable way.
His consciousness, his essence, somehow transferred into the unborn child. She could feel his confusion, his fear, echoing within her own mind. Their thoughts intertwined, a terrifying intimacy she never wanted. Every movement, every flutter of the baby inside her was a reminder of the bizarre reality she was living. She could sense his emotions, his thoughts, as if they were her own. It was a bond that defied all logic, all reason.
Clara! What's happening? He sounded scared, lost. The child himself imprisoned. His voice, though faint, was filled with a desperation that tore at her heart. He was trapped in a world he didn't understand, a world that was both familiar and alien.
Clara wept, tears of horror, of despair, of a grief so profound it threatened to consume her. She felt the weight of their shared predicament, the crushing reality of their intertwined fates. It was a sorrow that went beyond words, a pain that was etched into her very soul, of a grief so profound it threatened to consume her. She knew she had to find a way to free him, to break the cycle of torment they were both trapped in, but how? The answers eluded her, leaving her in a state of perpetual anguish. The echoes of his presence within her were a constant reminder of the impossible task ahead. What replaced it was not forgiveness, not exactly, but something akin to acceptance. The fear, the revulsion began to fade. Days turned into weeks, weeks into months.
I was carrying Mark's child, yes, but also Mark himself. A strange tenderness bloomed in my heart.
His thoughts, once terrifying, became a source of comfort.
I spoke to him, sang to him, shared my hopes and fears.
Their bond, forged in the crucible of this bizarre situation, deepened into something unique, unbreakable. The doctors were baffled. The pregnancy was unusual, the baby's life force strangely intertwined with her own.
I kept my secret, the truth too monstrous, too unbelievable. I spun tales of a distant father, of a love lost.
No one questioned her. Who could imagine the truth?
I felt him then, a distinct kick, a surge of joy that resonated in my own heart. He understood. He would never betray me.
Labor was a symphony of pain and relief. As the baby, a girl, was placed in her arms, a wave of exhaustion washed over Clara. And then she heard it.
Clara. She's beautiful.
Tears welled in her eyes, tears of joy this time as she looked down at her daughter. Her eyes the same emerald green as the ring, now tucked away in a locked drawer. She was free. He was free. The bond remained, a faint echo between them, a connection that transcended words and time. It was a bond forged in the fires of their shared experiences, a silent understanding that needed no explanation. A secret language only they shared, a language of glances and gestures, of smiles and sighs. It was their own private world, a sanctuary where they could retreat and find solace in each other.
I raised my daughter with a love made fierce by our ordeal. Every hug, every lesson, every moment was infused with a depth of emotion that only we could understand. Our journey had been long and arduous, but it had also made us stronger. In her stubbornness, in the way she faced the world with unyielding determination, a constant reminder of the love we had shared and the sacrifices we had made. In her fierce, independent spirit, I saw the future. She was a beacon of hope, a testament to our resilience and our ability to rise above the challenges that life had thrown at us.
The ring lay forgotten, its magic spent. It was a relic of a past that no longer held power over us, a symbol of the trials we had overcome. Some things, once broken, could never be fully restored. The cracks and scars were a part of our story, a testament to our journey and the strength we had found in each other. But sometimes, from the ashes of destruction, something new, something extraordinary could arise. It was a reminder that even in the darkest times, there was always the potential for rebirth and renewal. And Clara, her daughter in her arms, finally dared to hope. She looked at her child and saw not just the past, but a future filled with endless possibilities. It was a new beginning, a chance to build something beautiful from the remnants of what had been lost.